Welcome to another BEC Speaking Practice Lab Deep Dive. Today's session is for B2 candidates, and we're focusing on office relocation, cost reduction, staff retention, and productivity.
All right, Jack, let's get started. That's a lot to cover, and these are real challenges in many companies now.
Exactly. This episode will test your ability to balance business priorities and handle workplace pressure. We'll start with a warm-up, tackle a tough relocation scenario, upgrade your answers, build your business vocabulary, and sharpen your fluency under time limits.
I'm ready. Let's dive in.
Emma, first question. What factors make a workplace attractive to employees?
Well, I think location is quite important, especially if people have to travel into the office several times a week. Apart from that, flexible working, good facilities, and a positive atmosphere can make quite a big difference.
Give me one reason why location matters.
If the office is easy to reach, employees can avoid long commutes, which makes their work-life balance much better.
Here's another. Would you accept a longer journey to work if the company offered better career opportunities?
That depends. If the opportunities were genuinely better, I'd probably consider it. However, I'd want to know whether the longer commute would affect my work-life balance in the long term.
Let's move on. Your company's office rent has increased sharply. Management wants to cut property costs by 25%. And is considering relocating to a cheaper business park with poor public transport but lower costs. An internal survey suggests some experienced employees may leave if the move goes ahead. You have three options: relocate completely, keep a smaller city centre office, or use a hybrid solution with more remote work. Decide what to do and explain why. Pause and respond now.
Well, I think the company should prioritise a hybrid solution with a smaller city centre office and more remote working. The main reason is that it offers a reasonable balance between reducing costs and protecting employee retention. Moving to the business park might save more money, but there's a risk that experienced staff would leave because of the difficult commute. That could mean extra recruitment and training costs. So the savings might actually be less than expected. Simply reducing office space in the city centre is less disruptive, but it might not be enough to reach the 25% target. On balance, I'd recommend downsizing and introducing a hybrid policy, then review after 6 months to check productivity and satisfaction.
You focused heavily on employee retention. Why should management prioritise that when there's a clear financial target?
Retention matters because losing experienced staff costs the company time and money. Recruitment and training take resources, and productivity could drop in the short term. So saving on rent might actually hurt the business overall if too many people leave.
But the business park would reduce rent considerably more than the other options. Isn't that a stronger argument?
It's a strong argument for cost, but if the move damages staff, morale, recruitment, or client relations, the company could lose out in other ways. For example, client meetings might be harder and staff could be less engaged.
So are you saying the company shouldn't relocate at all?
Not necessarily. I'm saying test the assumptions, calculate the likely staff turnover, and balance it with rental savings. If the numbers still work, relocation could make sense.
Suppose management estimates an annual saving of £600,000 from moving versus £350,000 for the hybrid option. Would you change your recommendation?
That's a big difference, so I'd reconsider. But I'd still check whether key employees are at risk. If those likely to leave are difficult to replace or support major clients, Losing them might cost more than the extra saving. I'd identify critical roles before making a final call.
But you don't have time for more analysis. Senior management needs a recommendation tomorrow.
Then I'd stick with the hybrid option. It still saves a lot, but with less risk. The company would have flexibility to make adjustments after reviewing real outcomes.
Some directors say this is too cautious. How do you respond?
Caution isn't the same as avoiding decisions. The goal is sustainable savings. If we save on rent but lose key staff or productivity, we just move the problem. The hybrid option is a measured way to cut costs without avoidable disruption.
Now, compare moving to the business park with reducing size in the city centre.
Complete relocation brings the biggest cost savings and possible benefits of a modern office. But poor transport is risky for staff and punctuality. Downsizing in the city centre is less disruptive, but savings might fall short, especially if rents keep rising. I'd choose based on whether cost or continuity is the bigger priority.
What practical problems could arise with more remote working?
Communication could get harder, especially for teams needing fast decisions. Collaboration, onboarding, and culture might suffer. But these can be managed if people have set office days for meetings and teamwork.
Wouldn't compulsory office days reduce flexibility?
A bit, but a balance is necessary. The company has operational needs, so I'd set minimum attendance and let managers adapt for their teams.
Suppose employees strongly oppose compulsory office days. What should management do?
Explain the business reasons, not just announce the rule. Involve employees in choosing which days work best. People are more likely to accept policies they helped shape.
Should employees have that much influence?
They shouldn't decide, but their views matter. They'll spot practical issues managers might miss, so consulting them improves the quality of decisions.
Imagine a major client hears about the possible move and worries the company is in financial trouble. What should management do?
Management should communicate quickly and clearly, explaining the change is for efficiency, not an emergency. Reassure them without too much internal detail. Silence could make clients worry more.
Would you contact every client?
I'd focus on major clients and those who visit the office. For smaller clients, a general message is fine once decisions are final. Priority should go where uncertainty creates commercial risk.
Suppose 3 senior employees threaten to resign if the company moves to the business park. Should the company change its strategy because of them?
It depends on their roles. If they're critical or hard to replace, it's serious. But I wouldn't change plans just for 3 people. I'd look for alternatives like more remote work for those roles.
Would that create unfair treatment?
It could. So have clear criteria-based exceptions on role needs or commuting distance, not individuals. That way, it's easier to justify.
Let's talk about productivity. Some directors say remote work lowers output. Others say it helps. What's your view?
Productivity depends on the work type. For focused tasks, home can be better. For teamwork and creative work, office might be best. I'd measure outcomes, project completion, client service, team results, not make broad assumptions.
What would you track in the first 6 months?
Productivity, staff turnover, actual cost savings, and client service. If those stay stable or improve, the hybrid model is working.
Now imagine you're the operations manager. The finance director says, we need maximum savings now. Move everyone to the business park. What's your response?
I get the need for savings, and the business park is cheapest. But moving everyone at once is risky for retention. I'd compromise, secure the cheaper site, but let some roles stay hybrid to reduce risk.
And if the finance director refuses to compromise?
I'd document the risks, then support the final decision, and focus on successful implementation, travel support, flexible working, and clear communication.
Would travel support undermine cost savings?
Maybe, but small investments like a shuttle bus might cost far less than a city office. I'd compare the support cost to the benefit. If it keeps valuable staff, it could be worth it.
So you don't always pick the cheapest option.
Exactly. I'd choose the best overall value, not just the lowest cost.
Final question. You have 30 seconds. Give senior management your recommendation and 3 immediate actions.
I recommend a hybrid model with a smaller city centre office. First, negotiate the new property and confirm savings. Second, introduce a clear hybrid policy with scheduled office days. Third, communicate the decision with employees and major clients. After 6 months, review productivity, turnover, and costs before more changes. Let's quickly review 2 useful phrases. Jack.
The first is on balance. We use it after considering several advantages and disadvantages. For example, on balance, I'd recommend the hybrid option. Repeat, on balance, I'd recommend the hybrid option.
On balance, I'd recommend the hybrid option.
The second is take something into account. It means to consider a factor before deciding. For example, management should take employee retention into account. Repeat, management should take employee retention into account.
Management should take employee retention into account.
Let's wrap up with 3 key takeaways. First, always weigh both financial and people impacts before recommending business changes.
Second, use structured reasoning. Identify the problem, set priorities, and explain consequences. That's vital for strong Beck answers.
Third, build your answers with useful business phrases like on balance and take into account to sound more professional and convincing.
Your next step, practice summarizing both sides of a business dilemma, cost and people, using clear structure and targeted phrases. Record yourself and listen for fluency and confidence.
End of practice. See you in the next deep dive.